Hello, everybody. My name is Lee Cummings. I'm the author of the Negro Question book series. Uh, I'm going to be with you probably for 15 minutes dealing with uh, this great hoax that seminary put out called pre-tribulation. And pre-tribulation means that the Lord is coming back before the tribulation period. And they used a Greek word with it called the rapture. And I don't know if you had to be hiding under a rock to miss this, but last week, a prophet out of Nigeria and said that the Lord was coming back on the 23rd and the 24th of September. It did not happen. A lot of people sold their houses, sold their cars, sold their animals, and we even hear a record. There was a record of a woman that gave her child a DCFS. And we're going to show you that this great lie has caused great shipwreck in the earth. And we're going to show you how you can protect yourself from these false prophets when they preach pre-tribulation rapture. Listen to this. Let's go to Matthew's 24th chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. And we're going to let Jesus or Yeshua tell us when he's coming back. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, Sapan, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Now, I'm not going to read all these. You know all these signs: wars, rumors of wars, nations rise against nation, disease, pestilence. Let's skip down to one of those great signs of the second coming. Matthew 24 and 15. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Oh, so that first great sign before the coming of the Lord is they got to build the third temple in Jerusalem. And the Antichrist, which is the Pope, has to go inside. He has to move from the Vatican all the way to Jerusalem, take up residence in the new temple, the third temple that the Ashkenazi Jews are going to build. Once he goes inside the temple, the scripture says in verse 16, let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Now, if I was going to rapture the church off the earth before the Antichrist, why would I tell you to put your gym shoes on, your running shoes? I would tell you to put your running shoes on if I was going to rapture you off the earth. Then I'm going to skip down to verse 20. But pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day. Again, he's telling you, make sure that you don't need your running shoes in the wintertime. Make sure and pray that your flight be not in winter. Again, third temple's built. Antichrist go inside the temple. Lord tell you to flee. He's telling you to flee because he ain't coming back until when? We're gonna let the Lord tell you out his own mouth. Verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. Oh, so after the man of sin goes into the temple, after you put your Converse on, your Chuck Taylors, your Nikes, whatever your favorite gym shoes are, and you get the running, then there's going to be great tribulation. Well, when is the Lord coming back? Verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days. I want you to key in on the word immediately after the tribulation of those days. Well, that whole sentence, that phrase. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened. The moon shall not give her light. The stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. And then, verse 30, shall appear. Wait, hold on for a minute. Let me stop. The sun has not been darkened as of September 29th, 2025. The moon still gave her light last night on the 28th, and the stars did not fall from the heavens. Now check verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. The Son of Man was one of the nicknames that Jesus went by when he was in the flesh. Oh, thou Son of Man. Now, there's one place that says immediately he's coming back after the tribulation period. I want to go to Mark right quick. Again, this is going to be about a 10, 15-minute piece. I want to use this to save you from the future embarrassment. Right now, the Sunday church, the Sunday Christian church, Roman Christian church, is the laughing stock of all the religions because of what just transpired. If you had known these scriptures, you would have saved yourself. Some person got in the cab and gave an Uber driver $2,000 or $3,000 cash because they thought they were being raptured off the earth. Let's go a little further in this. Mark the 13th chapter. I'm not going to read all that. I'm going to read that great sign in verse 14. Mark 13 and 14. When you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing where it ought not, let him that readeth understand. Here we go again. That same sign. Read the whole chapter. I'm not trying to trick you. If you go back over here, you're gonna see. If I just for the sake of the lesson, Mark 13 and 1. And as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples said unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here. Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, over against the temple, Peter, James, John, and Andrew asked him privately, Sapan, tell us, when shall these things be? What shall be thy son when all these things shall be fulfilled? Asking the same question that was in Matthew's 24 and 3. Verse 14 says, again, when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where it ought not, let him that readeth understand. Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains. We got some Hebrews down in Demona. Hey, this is for you. Since you down in Judea, in Jerusalem, guess what? Put on your gym shoes. It's fleeing time. In verse 17, is that verse? No, verse 18. And pray ye that your flight be not in winter. 19, for in those days shall be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation, which God created until this time, neither shall be. I don't want to read all that. I want to take it up right here. Verse 24. Mark 13 and 24. But in those days, after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give her light. This is the same thing that Matthew said. And the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then, when in the verse 24 says, but in those days after that tribulation, again, after the tribulation, what? Verse 26, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then shall he send his angels and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven. 2 times. We have 2 witnesses in both these books by the apostles that the Lord is not coming back until immediately after the tribulation in those days. If you had just read these scriptures right here and you had just saw that they had the Ashkenazi Jews or the Sephardic Jews had to build a 3rd temple in Jerusalem, you would have known that there's no way he could have come back because the tribulation period, the 3rd temple has not been built. The Pope has not went down to he has not moved to Jerusalem. The tribulation period has not occurred. The sun has not been blackened. The moon has not been dark, refused to give her light, and the stars have not fallen from the heaven. Maybe something wrong with me. If you saw these things, if this happened last night, call me and let me know. Now, I want to go to Revelations right quick because I gave this I wanted to give this a title. This is the time of the frog. You see, I got this image on the screen of a frog coming out of a man's mouth. Well, we're going to show you that frog-like spirit that's coming out of a man's mouth is a lion spirit. And this is the era or the generation that we live in. We got a brother out of Nigeria who went viral telling a lie to all the Christian churches. And then people, they believed him. But we're going to show you this is the time of the frog, the time of the lying prophet. Revelation 16 and 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water there was dried up that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. You go as far east as you can go, you end up in where? China. And you know, China's allies are China, Russia, North Korea. But now we just simply say the BRICS nations coming across that Euphrates. And it says, 13, and I saw three unclean spirits like frogs. That's why I got that image on the screen. Three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the what? The false prophet. What does the false prophet tell you? Lies. That's a lion spirit coming out of a frog-like spirit. And what is this spirit? That frog is an ancient god. And just like in the days of Moses, when the Lord was when he was demonstrating his power, he brought frogs all over the land of Egypt. And that was a microcosm of what's going to happen in the last days. And we are starting to see a facsimile or a forerunner of this frog-like spirit in the mouth of these false apostles, these false pastors, these false evangelists, these false teachers, these false prophetesses, these false female preachers, these false fake female bishops, these false fake female apostles. All this stuff is going on right now. It is the time of the frog. But let's go to Exodus, the 8th chapter. And I want to read a passage of scripture to you, Exodus 8 and 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, go unto Pharaoh and say unto him, thus said the Lord, let my people go that they may serve me. Verse 2. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all the borders with frogs, and the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into thine house, thine bedchamber, upon thy bed, and into the house of your servants, upon your people, and thine ovens, into thy kneading troughs. And the frog shall come up both on thee and upon thy people, and upon all thy servants. I put this in there to show you, just like those fall frogs physically ran through the land of Egypt during the days that the Lord was showing himself mighty to the Egyptians. There was a frog-like spirit that has went out to the earth, and it's just like in the days of Moses, Aaron, who else? Joshua, Caleb, down in the land of Egypt. There's a frog-like spirit that went out in the earth. And guess what? The whole world has been deceived. They keep telling you that this prophet, he calls himself Joshua out of Nigeria. Not only did he get the prophecy wrong, he has the nerve now to set a new prophecy date for October 6th, October 7th. Do not be deceived, y'all. Now, I'm going to read you. I got one more place that I want to read you because people saying that no man knoweth the day nor the hour. That is a lie. We're going to show you. The Lord wasn't talking about his second coming. I'm going to go back to Matthew, the 24th chapter, and I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to pick it up at verse, I'll pick it up at verse 32. He gave all the signs from the first verse to the 32nd verse in the 24th chapter. Listen to what he says. He said, now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and bringeth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. Excuse me, I wrote all in this book. Verily I say unto you. Well, actually, verse 33. So likewise, ye, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. So if I see all these signs, the third temple being built, Pope going inside the temple, and then after the sun, the moon, and the stars being affected by the Lord, he said, my coming is near, is nigh at hand. Now watch this, verse 34. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled, all those signs. Now watch, it's a transition now. The Lord transitions from his second coming to another subject. He says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. So the new subject is what? It's no longer his second coming. The new subject is heaven and earth going to pass away. And then he says, verse 36, but of that day, what? The day that heaven and earth pass away. Of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels in heaven, but my Father only. That is what he's talking about, y'all. Because you hear these amateurs, these novices that preach the gospel saying, and you hear all these people saying, don't nobody know the day nor the hour. That's not what he was talking about. He was talking about the day and the hour that the heaven and the earth pass away. And we're going to read you a scripture out of Revelations 20 and 11, and that's going to be it for today. Revelations 20 and 11, I saw a great white throne and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away. There was no more place found for them. So this is the day that he was saying or referencing when he said, don't no man know when that day is going to occur. But you know how the Lord said, he said, behold, I come as a thief in the night. He's not going to be a thief in the night to us because we got all the signs in the 24th chapter of Matthew and in the 13th chapter of Mark, all those signs. And there are other signs that we will show you in the future, in future lessons. But he's going to sneak up on the wicked because the wicked are doing what? They are partying, they're getting high, they're having a great time. They have been consumed with this word called fun, a spirit. So like I said, I was only going to read with you shortly. Focus on the two scriptures that I gave you in Matthew and Mark, and you will be fine. My name is Lee Cummings, author of the Negro Question book series. I got a book that I would actually, one of my books that I wrote, that I would actually, that is the book for this particular time, this time frame. It's called The Negro Question, the Seventh Seal. It breaks down the second coming of Christ. There's no way you'll miss it. And like I always say, when I do these little lessons, I always say, I'll see you at the finish line. God bless you.